recording? Okay. So we have seen cost element accounting yesterday. So basically cost element, there are two types of cost elements, primary cost elements and secondary cost elements. So in both the cases, we require a GL in finance, but the basic difference between these two is, so primary cost element can be considered, I mean the corresponding GL pay can be considered while posting the transaction, whereas the secondary cost elements, the GL cannot be considered while posting the transaction. So system will not allow us to post any transaction to the secondary cost elements. Okay, so primary cost elements will transfer from finance to the controlling. And while moving on to the controlling, it requires an object called cost object, controlling object. It can be of anything: cost center, internal order, production order, process order, plant maintenance order, sales order, profitability segment, WBS element. There are different types of cost objects. So you can consider any one of them while moving the data from finance to the controlling. So as we can see, the GL will have a balance, whereas in controlling directly you cannot see any value to the cost element, but the value will be updated with the cost object. So with the help of the cost object, it means in the combination of cost object and cost element, we can see the relevant values. That is what we have seen yesterday. And cost element group, it's nothing but grouping of certain cost elements. That's called cost element group. So we will create as and when it is required. So we will discuss at that point only. Now coming to the cost center accounting. What exactly the cost center is? Of course, we did some configuration on this, because without the cost center, without profit center, we will not be able to post any transaction. So in that way, we have made some configuration both on the cost center and profit center perspective. Okay, so what is a cost center? Cost center, typically we call it as department in our regular terminology. In our regular terminology, we'll call it as department. What kind of departments normally we will have? HR department, then accounts department, right? Sales department, purchases department, stores department, production department. So we can see multiple departments. Okay, administrative department, security department, if at all you have any security. So like that, you can create multiple departments. Okay, so whatever are the expenses that are incurred in HR cost center, HR department, that will be tracked separately. Okay, so whatever the expenses that are relevant to accounts department can be seen with the help of accounts department. Similarly, sales, purchases, stores, and production. Okay, these are the different departments. So we will have to see what are the expenses posted in all these departments. Okay, we can see we have different reports to view the expenses posted to the relevant departments. Of course, we have posted certain transactions in our finance. Let's see what are the transactions that we have posted. Okay, so I'm going into accounting, controlling, cost center accounting, and actual postings. Otherwise, we will go here, year and close, information systems, reports for cost center accounting, plan and actual comparison. This is the most important report. S underscore ALR underscore 87013613611. This is called cost center's actual plan variance report. Most important report. There is another report called KSB1. That is also one of the other important reports. Yeah, here you have in line items, you can find that KSB1. This KSB1 S underscore ALR underscore 870136111. These two are the most important reports in cost center accounting. So let me just get into this. We have seen the path, okay, accounting controlling, cost center accounting, information systems reports for cost center accounting, plan actual comparison, S underscore LR underscore 870136111 cost center actual plan variance. Just enter into that, okay, give our controlling area, fiscal year, periods, then plan version, okay, plan version, this is for 0. Then you can enter the cost center groups or the cost centers. You can give a cost element range or you can give a cost element group. You can give any one, but you cannot give both group and ranges. You have an option to enter either group or a range. Similarly, in the case of cost center also, either you can give a group or you can give a cost center individual values. So let me just take one cost center because we have posted most of the transactions into 1000. So I'm just selecting 1000 and I'm not going to consider any cost elements. Okay, so I've just selected 1000 cost center and executing. So the moment we execute here, we will have a report. So here, this is a cost center and person responsible for this cost center is this thing, reporting period 1 to 12 of 2019. The name of the cost center is this, and what are the transactions being posted, actual cost, salaries, the GL is 4 lakh GL, this is the amount, rent, this is the one. So these are the transactions posted into this cost center, and the total amount is showing as 1,88,616. What is over absorption, under absorption, that we will see during our product costing. Okay, not required at the moment. So total the expenses we have posted into this cost center is 1,88,616. Okay, so this is kind of an quantity, not sure what exactly this thing. We will see what is this little later. Okay, so in on the top you can see this report related information. So what controlling area, what what is our input input parameter, what are our input parameters that can be seen over there. So typically this is what the report. Okay, now if I want to go into the line item, I can see that one as well. KSB1, cost center actual line item reports. This is line item report, whereas this is total amount by cost element. If you see over here, you can see the amount posted into this cost center, and you don't have any individual line items for each of these. There is no line item here. It is total amount. Okay, this I will explain little later. Okay, now here you can see the total amount. This 52,867 is not an one line item, not a single transaction. We have multiple transactions, but still it is showing the total amount. This is what the total amount. Okay, now here you can see the line item wise KSB1. Okay, path for this is easy access, accounting, controlling, cost center accounting, information system reports for cost center accounting, line items, KSB1, cost center actual line items. Just select that, enter the controlling area, enter the cost center. Again, you can give a group also. Similarly, cost element group. I want to consider only one cost element. Okay, I want to consider only one cost element. Now, what is the period that you want to consider? So you can pick up the relevant period. Okay, then that's it. Layout, this is not required now. So if you want to restrict furthermore using particular thing, you can further restrict. If you don't enter anything, it will give you the complete information of this cost element posted in this cost center under this controlling area. I'm just executing here. Now these are the transactions posted into this cost center pertaining to this cost element. Now here you can see a document number. What is this document number? This document number is a controlling document number. These are called internally generated document numbers. But when you see our controlling document number range, you will not be able to see the number range with A. Here we have maintained the number range for controlling documents, right? So once you execute here, our controlling area is 1248, and if you see the interval here, it is starting with 1 lakh. So you can see only this 1 lakh to all nines, right? But you can do nothing starting with A anywhere in our number range. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you, but the
Yeah.
only thing is that it's a lagging.
Yeah, I think there is some connectivity issue. I don't know whether it is from my end or from the remote desktop. Not sure about that. Okay, that's fine. So the number range, whatever we have maintained in the controlling document has numbers only. But if you see over here, you can see it is starting with something else. These are called generated, artificial. We call it as artificial document numbers. Okay, we will have the same document number, the number range, whatever we have maintained in some areas, we will discuss them in our further classes. So the moment we post any transaction in finance, the system will generate not only the finance document, it will also generate the controlling document. This is what the controlling document. Let's post a transaction and we will see that also. Okay.
But Nanda, why is that, system is not picking up, the number range or the number, defined in a controlling area?
Yes. So if you see over here in the maintain number ranges for controlling document, I'm taking 1248. And if I select interval, here the number range 01 is there.
Correct.
It is not depending on the year, fiscal year.
Okay.
Suppose if I enter a fiscal year, so once this is exhausted, okay, I can go for another range and I can go for it within the fiscal year. Suppose if I don't have the fiscal year, no, what if all the numbers gets exhausted? What happens? What are we going to do? That's a problem, right? That is the problem. Here in this case, I have a range of 1 lakh to all nines. Let's say after 10 years, there is no number in this. All got exhausted. What are we going to do now? So we will have to change the number range. It means we will have to create starting with A followed by zeros, A followed by all nines, or something we will have to create, right? Because it is not depending on the fiscal year. So in such a case, once the number is exhausted, again, we will have to come back and make some changes. So for every finance transaction, whatever the transaction is updating and controlling, if we are taking the number range from this, over a period of 10 years or 5 years, all the numbers will be exhausted. Again, we will have to come back and maintain. To avoid that, in S4, we have this option. So system will generate one artificial document number. This is what the artificial document number. And there are certain situations where we can see the number range, I mean the document number within this limit. We will discuss them little later. Any questions?
So that means, so even if we don't maintain number range in a controlling
Mhm.
system
No,
picked up
no, no,
randomly anyway.
no. A system expects the business transaction should be assigned to a number range. Without that, we would not be able to post any transaction. Even the system is not picking up the number range from the range maintained. But
Okay.
still, system expects that to have.
Okay. So this number range will be remain, as long as, the business use the SAP system, like next 50 years, still we do not have
Yes,
to.
yes, that's what the probability will be little higher, right? So
Correct.
in this case, probably maybe 10 years. In normal case, it may get exhausted in 10 years. But in this case, I mean, in S4 system, since we have artificial, the probability of keeping this for 25 years,
Okay.
probability will high.
High, correct. Even
So
more.
that, yes, that
Okay.
is the reason why we have this artificial document number.
Oh.
Okay, let us post a transaction in finance and we will see now this one, FB 50, 26 September 2019, 4 lakhs, 2 lakh 20, credit, debit, 1250. So what I'm going to do, I will take a cost center here. Without cost center, system will not allow me to post. Okay, I'm just saving. 26 September 2019. Okay, we got a document number. Go to document, display. We are here in FB03, right? Now, if you see here, this is our finance document. Now go to environment, document, environment, accounting document. Just select this accounting documents. You would be able to see now this controlling document. See, A followed by zeros, HB 00 is our document
Mhm.
number. Now, if you see the controlling document, you since the CO object is there on the debit side, you can see only that information. So I'm just selecting this controlling document. I'm selecting that. You can see now this is the document number, this is the date. Now when I'm expanding here, I can see only one item because we have got only cost center on the debit side. How do I come to know whether it is a debit or credit? Based on the amount. This is the amount we have entered. Okay, this is the amount we have entered and it is showing as a positive sign. So since it is a positive, I can say debit. Okay, so in
Mhm.
controlling, We will not have, it does not require to have both debits and credit. Debit